We do not have to venture far to hear the statement, I fell off the wagon, or I've just fallen off the wagon. And because so much of my time is spent with people around physical health and weight loss, then what I hear all the time is people coming in saying, I was doing really well, but I just fell off the wagon. And the surefire way to fall off the wagon is to have the belief that there's a wagon to fall off in the first place. And we know that these beliefs drive us whether we are conscious of them or not. So if we truly believe there is something that we fail or succeed at, then we are destined to fall off the wagon. What happens in society today is we can look at this for any area of life, but let's look at health and weight loss as an example. What we do when we have this belief is we look for opportunities to allow us to have a wagon to get on, to succeed at, to fail at. And so it might be, as an example, an 8-week challenge or a system to follow that worked for somebody else. And so when we step onto this wagon and start this 8-week challenge, there's only 2 outcomes, and it is to succeed and fail. So let's take failure first. Failure is different for everyone. So often I will see people that are ticking along trying to follow a framework, and they'll say they failed. Now it might be one meal, one day that they've fallen short on what their ideal situation is. But the rest of the 6 days or the other meals in that week were absolutely fine. And so we have to really address what failure is first. But with this tick box type of mentality, getting on the wagon, we set ourselves up for this looking for failure. And so what happens when we fail at the end of this 8-week challenge or whatever it is we're doing, we compare straight away. Now, if we are comparing our failures to somebody else's successes, we go straight into self-criticism. We know that criticism is not, while it's very normal and we're wired that way for survival, it is not the space that we stay in. It is a space that alerts us to something that we've done wrong, so then we can step into curious and self-compassion to start behaviour change, which there's research on to show that that's the most successful way to start behaviour change. So we step into self-criticism, and then because we're so cranky at ourselves, unconsciously or consciously, we step into a space of self-doubt, which then drives self-sabotage. Okay, this negative emotion wants us to do something to just keep us in the spot, and that negative emotion. So we just fall off the wagon and we're back stuck in the belief that we've always had because we've never really questioned this. The second thing that could happen is we could succeed. We finish the 8-week challenge. We may have lost 5 kilos. Job done. Okay, and this happens so commonly. And when the job is done, we take the focus and attention off the behaviours that we're trying, or the positive behaviours that we've integrated, and we go back to autopilot, which is 95% of our day, and we fall off the wagon. So many times I see this. We succeed at something, people lose weight. They may have started at a gym and they've lost weight, and then they stop all those positive behaviours because they've never actually isolated what the behaviours are and focused on that. We've looked at the tick box at the end. So we have to address this belief, okay, is the number one thing that we have to do to ensure that we succeed at what the goal is in our life, and to succeed and feel good about our life. So we have to check on the belief. The next thing we have to do is really question across our life where we're using these tick box things. Where are we setting ourselves up to fail or succeed? Rather than, it's less about the goal than how it is around how we're showing up. Because I can see people at their toward the end of their life, later on in life, and they may have achieved weight loss, but I guarantee if they've done it with this mentality, they have taken away from other areas of life, and they may have starved themselves and been cranky and miserable with their family, too busy because they've done this all or nothing approach to spend time with other elements of their life. So we have to look at how do I actually want to show up, because that is the most important thing, not this tiny little goal around physical health and weight loss. Then we need to look at clarity of whole life. If we put all our eggs in one basket and we think, I'm going to be happy if I lose weight, that is one area of life, physical health, weight loss, whatever it might be, body, appearance, shape. We have all these other areas of life, and unless we pay attention and have crystal clear knowledge around what that whole quality of life, what's important to me across all areas, then if that one area, that physical health or body shape and appearance area is off, life is terrible. life is miserable. But if we have the clarity and we've done the work with a life grid of what's important to us, then the rest of those things can lift us back up whilst this one's just out of balance. So the work on this is exceptionally important on what the whole life looks like and clarity on it. I spent some time with a remarkable lady the other day, and she's had cancer, terminal cancer, for the last 10 years. Now, last week she came with the best news possible that she's cancer free. Now, her attitude is incredible. Her optimism is beyond most people's that I've seen. But her ability to have clarity around where she's going with optimism is absolutely astounding. So when I asked her, when we talked about physical health, and she said, I want to be fit and healthy. This body's going to last me a little bit longer than I thought. And I said to her, give me the vision of what that looks like. Now, most people I ask, it's like, I've lost a bit of weight, those sorts of things. She sat there for 30 seconds, closed her eyes, and then opened them and said, I am bouncing around in my kitchen in the morning, ponytail high, workout gear, feeling amazing in it with energy, drinking my green smoothie. That's the clarity that we need on the vision across, that's physical health, but across every area of life, to ensure that we bring this reticular activating system into play to provide us with the motivation to keep going and the opportunities to come into our life that we can at least see. And then we need education in those areas. We need to know where we are and where we want to go to get that vision. And we need to find the people who can give us the education that we can adopt and factor into our life to suit our lifestyle. And then the fifth thing to ensure that this doesn't occur and we achieve and we expand is to maintain focus, to understand the power of transitions and triggers, the opportunities lost in our day that we just are on autopilot, that we can bring back intention and focus, and have the triggers there to remind us so that we can step out of autopilot, which is our normal response, because there's 2 million bits of information coming in a second and we can only process 2,000 of them. 4 million of them, and we can only process 2,000 of them. So we have to set up the things to maintain focus, or we will lose our direction around where we're going. Have a little think today about the areas of life that we choose these tick box things, because we are sure to fall short of them if we continue on that path. Take care and be well.